Alright, welcome to the lesson for this weekend. Today we're going to begin by solving for x. I want to know what values of x will make this equation true. 4x squared minus 18x equals negative 8. Now I want to take advantage of the zero product property in factoring to solve this equation for x. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that one of the sides of the equation is equal to 0. So I have 4x squared minus 18x plus 8. Once I've ensured that one side is equal to 0, I'll use my factoring algorithm to make sure that I can factor correctly. First, I look for the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor for this polynomial expression is 2. It's actually a quadratic trinomial, so 2x squared minus 9x plus 4 equals 0. Then I'll check to see whether there are any special cases, that is a sum of squares, or different squares, or any of the special cases with a positive perfect square in the front and a negative perfect square in the back. So then I'm going to see that there's not one, so I will factor like normal and just try to guess and check to see what multiplies to be this polynomial. So I will multiply 2x times x to get 2x squared. I know that to multiply to be 4 and add to be negative 9, both of these need to be negative, and I'm going to start with a 1 and a 4. I'll double check to make sure that I picked the right combination, and I know that I have because negative 1 and negative 8 make negative 9. Now, because this equation is a product of numbers equaling 0, I know by the zero product property that either one of these factors has to be 0. Now, 2 can't be 0. It's already 2. So 2x minus 1 will be set equal to 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. And I can't just use the opposite signs here, because if I use the opposite signs, especially with the first factor, I won't get the right answer. Now I want to get x all by itself, so don't forget to divide by 2. So I know that x has to equal 1/2, or the other possibility, if I add 4 to both sides of this expression, I get x equals 4. Those are the two possible numbers for x that will make this equation true. And if you wanted to, you could really check by plugging those in to see if they work. Now today we're going to continue to graph quadratic equations. And in class we talked about how important it was that you get this in factored form first. So again, this is factored, and I want to do that before we start graphing. First question we want to answer is whether it opens up or down, and whether it's going to be wide or narrow. The way that we answer this is by looking at the leading coefficient, which is 1/2. Now, we talked about this in class, but just to remind you, we have to look to see whether that leading coefficient is close to 0, which means that I want to know if it's close enough to 0, or closer than 1 is to 0, I should say. And I see that 1/2 is definitely within the window between -1 and +1. So I know that this is going to be opening wide because it's close to 0. And because 1/2 is positive, it's going to open up. Now the next step is to find the x-intercepts of the graph. And I do this by setting the equation, which is y equal to 0, to find the x-intercepts. You should remember that from when we were finding the x-intercepts of lines. In order to find the x-intercept, I set y equal to 0 and I solve for x. Now again, by the zero product property, since all these are being multiplied together to equal 0, one of them has to be 0. 1/2 is 1/2, so it can't be that factor, but x plus 3 could be 0, and x minus 4 could also be 0 also. So if I use the inverse operations, I know x equals -3 and x equals +4. I shouldn't say and, it could be one or the other. And in class, we talked about how zeros have to be written as intercepts, which are ordered pairs. The x values are -3 and +4, and the y values are, you guessed it, 0, because I had to make them 0 to make that work. The axis of symmetry is found by adding the two numbers you got for x together and dividing by 2. -4 divided by 2 is going to be 1/2. So the axis of symmetry is going to be x equals +1/2. If you imagine when you look at this parabola, if it's wide and opening upwards, the vertex is going to be right here through the axis of symmetry. So I have to plug in 1/2 into the equation for x to find the vertex. So I'll do that now. Y equals, and I have 1/2. It's going to be 1/2 plus 3 and 1/2 minus 4. And I have a calculator to help me out just when I'm ready to multiply. 1/2, it's going to be 3.5. This is going to be -3.5. Let's multiply those together. 3.5 times 3.5, but this one's negative, so hit the negative button. 12.25 times 0.5 again, that's this 1/2 in the front. I get -6 1/8, so -6.125. Alright, so let's plot the points I have so far. -3 zeros intercept, 4 zeros an intercept, and I have 1/2, -6 1/8 as an intercept. So that means I could plot those now in my graph. I'm going to make my scale go by every other box is 1 unit. So I'm going to mark that out clearly so everybody who looks at my graph can determine what I'm trying to put out there. So you can see here, I'm clearly marking everything down just to make sure that there's no miscommunication. So -5 there. All right, let's plot our points. My two intercepts are at -3, +4. There we go. Now my intercept or my axis of symmetry is going to be at 1/2, so it's going to be conveniently right on this line. There it is. And it's at -6 1/8, so it's going to be down here. 6 1/8 is maybe right there. There's the vertex, that big blue dot. Now I need one more dot to make this parabola complete, so that means that I want to plug in another point for x to make this U shape really a U. So I'm going to pick a number that's in between my two red dots here to plug in, and I'm going to pick a number 2. If I put 2 in for x, I get y equals 1/2, and I have 2 plus 3, and then 2 minus 4. 1/2 times, what's 2 plus 3? What's 2 minus 4? And you could always use a calculator to help you out here, just in case. 2 minus 4, okay, just double checking. I did 2 minus 4, there we go, -2. So then I'm going to multiply that by 5, and then multiply by 0.5 again. So I get -5. When I put 2 in for x, I get -5 out for y. So 2 in for x, -5 for y, right there. And because it's called the axis of symmetry, I can reflect that point over 3 boxes, it looks like, from the axis of symmetry to the dots. So go the other direction, 3 dots, and that point's -1, -5. There you have it. Now I have 2 dots. I can connect them by making a U shape. Now be careful when you draw this U shape. I don't want to see lines. It just shouldn't look like a V. Mine even wasn't that good there, but as long as you try to your best to make it look like a U, that's the most important part. Let's do another one. Now this one isn't factored, but I can factor it pretty easily by using my factoring algorithm. This is what's called standard form. I want to factor it out. So factor out the greatest common factor, and notice I took out a -3 because I want the x squared in the front to be positive. And there you have it. And now I factor the inside, and I'm not going over this in great detail because we've factored a lot, and so I don't have time to go through and explain how I got that factor to work. So looking at my leading coefficient, I can answer whether it opens up or down. It's obviously going to open down because my a value is negative. And it's going to be narrow because my a value is farther away than 1 is from 0. All right, let's look at it again. X minus 3 equals 0. I have another one, x plus 1 equals 0. This is going to help me find my zeros. Use inverse operations, x equals 3, and x equals -1. I'll put those as zeros up here, 3, 0, -1, 0. Okay, that should hopefully make sense to you. So now, to find the axis of symmetry, I must go ahead and add these together. So I'm going to have 3 plus a -1, all divided by 2. That's going to be 2 divided by 2, which x is going to be 1. That's convenient. X equals 1 is my axis of symmetry. That should make sense because that's right in the middle between -1 and +3. All right, let's find our vertex by plugging in that 1 into the equation for x. So I have y equals, and it's -3 times 1 minus 3 and 1 plus 1. So I have -3 times -2 times a +2. 2 times -2 is -4 times -3 is +12. Now double check this because you want to make sure that you have this correct. Now in order to make this fit, because 12 is a pretty big number, I'm going to make every box worth 1 unit, and you can see me marking them off right now. You should hopefully be following along this entire video, but especially now, make sure you practice marking down your graphs and getting used to either changing the scale if you have to, or just marking the scale for the first time to make sure that, again, like I said, there's no confusion about what's going on. So I'm going to plot the points I have so far, 3, 0, -1, 0, and 1, 12. So -1, 0 is right there, 3, 0 is right there. My axis of symmetry is this vertical line at x equals 1. There it is. Plot my point at 1, 12. There's my vertex. I need one more point. I'm going to pick the point 1 or 2 to go in there for x just to get one more point. So y equals, and I have -3, 2 minus 3, 2 plus 1. So then I have -3 times -1 times a +3. -3 times a +3 is +9. I'm sorry, -3 times -3 is +9. I made a verbal mistake there. So I'm going to plug that in, 2, 9, use the axis of symmetry, get the other point exactly the other side, which is 0, 9, and then graph the parabola. And look, it opens down and it's narrow, just like I anticipated it would be. Now this last page, you can keep that blank. We're going to do that in class, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it makes a little bit more sense now that we practiced, and I will see you on Monday.